Welcome to my session. In this video, we are going to look into the topic retail merchandise. Come on, let's go deeper into the concept and learn what are all the concepts available in the retail merchandise. This study or this particular video is going to give you the knowledge about the basic concepts of retail merchandise, the key elements, the process, the roles played by the merchandise or the merchantmen, types and the classifications, and also the philosophy. Let's go one by one and gain knowledge about the retail industry or the retail merchandise in this video. We should first know about what is meant by the retail merchandise and how it was evolved. In the introductory part, we should know about the present context, merchandising, how it was evolved. It has evolved into a more specialized field, but in the days of mom and pop store, the owner of the store was doing the job of complete management of the store, including that of a merchandiser. But over a period of time, the formats of stores have gone into complete change, including the size, the ambience, type of merchandise stores, and specialization in merchandise sales, use of technology in the field of managing salespersons and sales, and also the stock. And job on specialization now enriches in the field of merchandising. The next point what you should keep in your mind is we should know about what are all the concepts involved in merchandising. Merchandising is the planning which is involved in marketing the right merchandise of the right place, of the right time, in the right quantities and in the right price. So this talks about right merchandise is nothing but it should be kept in a right place and it should have a right quantity with the right pricings which should be supplied to the consumers at right time. Merchandising is not a synonym for the buying function. It is an integrated end-to-end business process that runs from planning to assortment, to sourcing, to distribution, to allocation of the goods to the stores, to promoting and selling the assortments to the consumers, and finally to reinforcing or the refilling of the inventory as and then necessary is also the function of merchandising. The other activities that make merchandising effective such as advertising, displaying, creating an attractive ambience, window displays, and then harmonious reception of the customers or the visitors that is productive in and perspective in nature. Then the key elements in the merchandise concentrate on four important strategies. According to Walter and Harman, retail strategy, planning and control, the retailer must take a strategic direction in the four key elements. That is merchandising strategy, communication strategy, customer service strategy, and format environmental strategy. So these are all the key elements of merchandising according to Walters. Then coming back to the strategies. See, the merchandise strategy is based on the concept of targeting the right people with the right merchandise of the right time of a right place or at a right place. Here is the right people mean the right customers or the consumers the retailers wish to target or wish to sell their products. Then the right place implies that the store location as well as the sufficient space which is provided for keeping the place or the retail outlet is an appreciable, which should be in an appreciable ambience, in a good condition, or in a good place, or in the heart of the city. It may be to the accessible point to the customers. Then depending upon the location of the store and the inhabitants, the retailer will offer the appropriate quality, the pricing and the merchandise details. These should be kept in mind while you are talking about right person, right place, as well as in the right location. Communication strategy. The communication strategy aims with effective communications, a very important strategy for a successful merchandising. The customer should be easily approachable and he should get the required informations in an effective manner in the coherent plan of action. Then it should take into consideration the amount of goods and objectives of retail firm, the features of the products and services and the environmental conditions also. The marketer makes an effort to persuade wholesale and retail channel members to stock and promote certain products. So the communication strategy must be effective communication to motivate the general people or the public or your customers to come back again and again. He or she, the customer, tries to enforce that the consumer demands certain products or the brands from the retail channel members. They should be readily in the phone call or in the mail or in the contact point to deliver all those items to them. So these are all the communication strategies in merchandising. And about the customer strategy. When you are talking about a customer strategy, customer satisfaction is almost an important point where everybody should cover in all type of marketing. It is also in the retail industry. Utmost important for a successful retail entrepreneur or an enterprise. A high quality customer service must be provided on the reception desk itself. It should be very, very attractive and the customer should be delighted to come to your store. It requires excellent communication skills of the retail staff, especially those who are in the front office. And the employees must be patient while they are answering to the customer queries and dealing with the customers also. So this CRM, we call it as the customer relationship managers or the people, those who are in that particular front office. They only decide the customer strategy and they should have excellent listening and telephonic skills, because whenever people are in need of any particular product or they will be coming to your point or they may be calling you, you should be in a position to answer at most with good effective information which is needed for the customers at the point of time. You should try to understand their psychology and their position and the importance, and they should be able to solve and prevent problems of the customers with the soft skill techniques. If they are in different mood, they may be shouting at you, sometimes they may be asking repeatedly the same questions, but you should be in a very key point about all those items. You should be very, very patient enough. There should be a mechanism of feedback from the customers. After receiving all the materials or the money which they are bringing in to your store, you should not keep quiet. You have to get your satisfaction level. You should also get the feedback about the functioning of the store in that particular locality, or about your staff, or about your services, etc. So these are all the points you should keep it in your mind while you are formulating your customer strategy. And the format and environmental strategy. When you are going for the format, retailers are making use of the customer activity, technology and processes to develop new strategies for their store format. And they are focusing to delight customers. It is not satisfying customers. Those days had gone already. Now we are talking about customer delights by ensuring that the right products are delivered to the store shelf. That they have to ensure it. and they are making effort in such a way that the space is being managed well. All these things should be done at a stretch, and at the same time they should process adequate right staff in displayed to provide an appropriate level of customer service. And from the above key elements, it is observed that merchandising strategy is going to be the most crucial one for all type of people, especially the retail merchandisers. And this strategy will substantially influence the other three elements which is mentioned earlier. Whether it is to decide on communication or customer service or on the retail store format or its ambience, it is very much important that they have to tackle it with utmost care, especially the front office people as well as the merchandisers. Now the process of merchandising. What are all the different process of merchandising? Generally, whenever a customer is coming to you or calling you, you should try to understand the customer needs. That is the process number one. It goes with identifying and sourcing of right merchandise, then planning the right assortments. You have to take them to a correct place, and planning and distribution to different locations, providing right quantities, deciding the price, and communicating offerings to right customers, and taking or understanding feedback of the customers. If something is not available with you, you have to provide it in the next time purchase. So these are all the process of merchandising in general. When you're specifically talking about the understanding of customer needs, we should go deeper into that. The merchandiser should always understand the different ways in which the consumer presently satisfy the needs. Let us assume, for an example, a consumer has a need for a hair care. Based on the study, the merchandiser may find that there are various ways in which the need is being satisfied. These may be hair shampoo, soap, or hair oil, or hair lotion, or serum, or it may be a cream, or it may be a hair color or hair dye, it may be hair mehendi, or it may be of anything hair related materials. With the help of the consumer survey, the method, product which is most demanded in that particular area is, for example, consider this may be a soap. This is what the understanding of the consumer needs. Identifying and sourcing of the right merchandise. Further, the merchandiser must, or the store seller must be in a position to identify the right merchandise for the shampoo or the soap. For example, in the shampoo or in the soap, the merchandiser may find that there are three different variants. Sometimes it is many varieties. It may be a herbal shampoo or a soap, or it may be medicinal value oriented, health oriented, or regular size, or baby soaps or shampoos, or dandruff free shampoos or soaps, or chemical free, organic. All those items are available. So the merchandiser, based on the study of the consumer survey from the market or from the feedback, like to know which one is most demanded in the market, which will help the retailer to serve the consumer needs immediately at this particular time. Nowadays, everybody is talking about organic shampoos, organic soaps, and organic type of bathing items. Suppose a merchandiser decides for medicinal values or organic shampoos. The medicinal, medical or mediclinical medicinal shampoo or soap, merchandiser need to identify the right supplier for that. What a set of people are supplying these type of health oriented or medical oriented shampoos or soaps, or organic oriented shampoos or soaps. The merchandiser need to identify the right suppliers and the sources of this type of particular variety of product. He or she may be like to analyze the brands like Dauber, Vatica, or Pantene, or Head and Shoulders, Sunsilk, or Chick shampoo, or Mira Shikakai, any type for this matter. You should be very, very clear about which type of product or who is a supplier. It may be sometimes the Khadi product, or it may be sometimes with the local people like Kartika, you may also go for the other local people, those who are providing purely organic homemade shampoos and soaps with the startup people. And you have to identify these type of medicinal value oriented products, and that is what the identifying the source. Then planning the right assortments. The shampoo may be, or the soap may be used to treat different kinds of hair conditions or the body texture or the skin texture. That is, it may be oily skin or a dull skin or a dry skin, or it may be a normal skin, or likewise if you are using it for a shampoo, it may be for a oily scalp or a normal or straightened hairs, curly hairs, all those things you should identify it and plan it. Next, the merchandiser has to decide on the different subcategorization, like the subcategorization can be based on the customer need for medical oriented shampoos. That is what the line, or the organic shampoo, so, or organic soap. So that is, or a dandruff remover, or the scalp cleaner, or you can say the kids varieties, tearless. Likewise, they may have some subdivision or subcategory for that. Thus, the merchandiser must know, based on past trend or the customer's feedback or the survey or their experiences, right quantities to be maintained under each subdivisions or the subcategories also. This is what the planning of assortment talks about. Planning distribution to different locations. Once the assortment is clear, then the merchandiser need to work out the quantities to be dispatched to different locations at a time, or the distribution centers at a time, because they should not say that this is not available in this particular store, so we have to walk for a travel for a longer duration, or whenever we are traveling there, we are not getting it. They should not get such complaints. Then it will spoil the image of the particular retail store. And the quantity dispatched should be based on the number of outlets in each location, and the minimum stocks to be maintained. That is very much needed. So you have to carefully know about the turnover ratio, the replenishment time, etc. So the logistics for the delivery of the goods should also be taken into consideration. What is your travel time? What is your track time? When it will reach the people? Everything should be planned for the planning of distribution. Providing right quantities. So once the goods reach the different distribution location or the points, the goods further needs to be sent to each of the outlets in that particular region. So for this, the retailer will take into account the consumer requirement in each of the stores based on the previous sales histories or the sales trends or the salesman's accounts or from the stock register, or they will also make their own study of the consumer needs. Thus, for each store, its requirement in terms of different assortments is worked out, and the goods are dispatched based on that. And what are the deciding the price concept also? Once the goods reach the store, the merchandiser needs to decide on the pricing of each of the product items. In case of certain retail chains, the pricing may be left to the respective store manager, so they will go to the store and ask the people to assort it, and they will be fixing their labels and pricing tags. Depends upon their stores. If it is the same product which is distributed, sometimes in the franchisee model and other things, the price tags will be already fixed in that, so they will be just assorting or setting it on the showcases or in the display units. Otherwise, they have to repack it sometimes, and they have to fix their own label according to their store requirements and the locality where they are kept their stores. The manager will work upon the prices as per the guidelines from the chief merchandiser for the product category, and the prices are decided based on the gross margin policy of each of the product. Normally the pricing is decided at the time of assortment of the storage itself. They will fix up the rates and the tax, everything. Then communicating offerings to target customers. Once the goods are on the floor of the shop, the merchandiser will work out the visual merchandising. He or she will communicate such a strategy for the given store or group of stores. The merchandiser may provide certain props and signages to each of the store to communication, write messages and offerings to consumers. There could be advertisements in print media or in the TV channels or in the radios, or it may be in the form of hoardings for giving mass publicity to the offerings. So one such example you can see that every time when the Max is opening for 50% off or 30% off, or they are celebrating a Krishna Jayanti, they may be giving advertisement to the people to visit their stores along with your kids to Krishna Jayanti offer. Likewise, some of the information should be given to them. So the last step of retail merchandising process is nothing but taking understanding feedback of the customers. See, the feedback acts as a guideline for improving the existing resources as well as for the future purchase and the assortments and the displays. So as to provide maximum satisfaction to the consumers, we should take up the feedback in a very serious manner. The merchandising team may decide to take feedback on different consumers or the different brands to items to know consumers' reactions to pricing, quality, the availability, the display, and then offer use products, effects, etc. So considering all these things, the feedback is also playing a major role in this type of merchandising. Then role of a merchandiser. See, when you are talking about the role of a merchandiser, it has gone to tremendous transformation from the historical time. Because traditionally merchandisers were readily performing more of a role of a merchant selling different kinds of merchandise to different towns and villages in the same country. In other country they will follow some other methodology. But it would be interesting to look at the historical roles of a merchandiser which we are going to explain in the next slide. As a role of a merchandiser in the historical times, he or she was a trader of the goods. Number one, he must be doing the trading, and he is used to move from place to place with his things. And he was not restricted to any single product or any single merchandise. Then and there seasonally he will be doing its business, and he has to carry the whole of the goods or whole lot of the goods in all the categories of products, either in the cart. Now you can see that the hawkers and peddlers, those who are coming on the roads even nowadays. And the trade was done either with exchange of money or bartering of merchandise also sometimes. Even today it is happening. The plastics were plastic or the aluminium or the ever silver vessels were given instead of the old clothes, used newspapers, etc. And they should have or had a good knowledge of the trends in the purchases and taste of the consumers. Then only they will be bringing the products which they can sell it out easily on the places. And they should have a good manager of men and materials. All the roles will be played by them. But in the subsequent days, the roles has been changed of a merchandiser. Here, he is not carrying or taking off any goods to any particular place, but he will go for a marketplace for a sale. And then need not perform many of the roles discussed in the earlier point. He has to specialize himself into a particular product category and performs mainly in that. And he has his own specializations in the team of merchandisers to take on the myriad task of order receiving, manufacturing or procuring follow-ups, and finally ensuring timely supply of the borrowers. But role of merchandiser in the recent retail business is something different. As a part of retailing business, where the retailer is involved in selling to end customers, the merchandiser's role is quite different from that of the expert merchandiser. First of all, the merchandiser does not get involved with the buying and selecting suppliers or coordinating with the suppliers or the manufacturers or the vendors, the development. These roles, as we saw in the unit on buying process, are specially assigned to the buying function or to the buyer in the retail organizations. Then if it is a single unit, the buyer and the merchandiser could be merged in the same unit as one person. In the growth units, two roles are handled by two different persons. And in bigger retail chain stores like that, the buyer and the merchandiser will be located in central office, that is from the actual store locations, and all the communications will be sent through various type of e-distribution units or EDPs. Likewise, the place will vary nowadays with the chain stores. Roles played by a retailer as a merchandiser. He will be acting as a researcher, planner, coordinator, controller, visual display, and sales promotion. He is a trainer as well as a motivator. Let's go to the first point as a researcher. Merchandiser needs to study buying behavior of targeted consumers, and buying behavior helps to understand their peculiarities in buying, the frequency of purchases for a given product, the place from where they are preferred to buy, the occasions for which they are buying, the preferred range or price ranges which they wanted, and the special or the salient features of the product they look for, quantities bought in a single lot or single purchase, and so on. In-depth analysis should be conducted to know about the target customers and their peculiarities as a whole. And that talks about the research segment of the merchandiser. Next, about the planning. Once the type of merchandise or the range of products is determined, then the next task of the merchandiser is to plan for correct assortments. He or she may forecast the quantities necessary for the given selling season or the period and finalize the budgets. This involves estimations of demand of the consumers by each product type, and by taking into account the economics, trend analysis must be done, and changes expected in the competitor's position, retailing environment. These things should be taken into consideration while they are planning for that. And these requirements are transmitted to buyers of each product type or working out their individual buying strategies also. The merchandiser is responsible for a particular product category while he is doing the coordinating. He will have a different line, hence he will be supervising the buying activities of many of the buyers working under him in different products under different categories in different stores. Merchandiser needs to coordinate for ensuring timely supply of materials and distribution in the right sense and in right quantities as budgeted, and the right price and also in the right time. So the coordination is very much important. Next, we are going to talk about the controlling. The merchandiser needs to control the performance of each of the selling locations in order to maximize sales and profitability of the retail channel. For this purpose, they have to monitor performance of each of the product under the category controlled by him or her, and they also should monitor the sales or the stock turnover ratios, marking downs, and the gross profitability, etc. The merchandiser will also need to access the performance of the buyers responsible for the purchasing of these products, and the assortment may be done on the aspects of good quality supplies, timeless and timeliness, as well as the supplies the right quantity, price competitiveness, and price services and supplier stores, etc. And then visual displays, the merchandiser will have to ensure that the product display is most effective in terms of pickups by consumers. For this, he may use the services of a professional visual merchandisers. We call it as a VM. And in many organizations, merchandisers work out the week-wise or fortnight-wise or monthly-wise thematical display plans along with their VM personnel. And this encourages the sales. And the sales promotion point of view, this is another crucial function of a merchandiser. For this, they have to work very closely with the merchandising and buying departments. And during the festival seasons and the promotion seasons, they have to concentrate more on the sales promotions with the offers. Then the trainer, he is acting as another very important role. The merchandiser is the trainer. He needs to train the assisting staff, everybody according to his expectations. Otherwise, the knowledge about the product may not be available with them, and the staff may be giving some other inputs for the customers, and they, that will not work out. So the actual markups will not be available. So the store level merchandiser needs to interact with the counter sales representative and the department managers as well as the store managers whenever new product is to be launched or any special promotion schemes are to be on the floor. And he is acting as a motivator. The merchandiser needs to manage the team of people who work under this supervision. Generally, the personnel that report to him are buyers, assistant merchandisers and visual merchandisers. And merchandisers needs to constantly be in touch with this team. And besides his teammates, he also needs to liaise with the store managers, departmental managers and vendors. He makes an effort on integrating all the related activities of the personnel for achieving optimum profitability for the store and organization. So he should be always a motivator for everybody. On the whole, the merchandiser role is very much important in various perspectives. That's what we discussed in this particular video. So keep on learning with me about the retail merchandising in further videos also. So thank you very much for supporting in learning, and see the videos, get benefited out of it, and also read the PDF materials which is available readily on your course. Thank you.